truth starts with how large a problem this is and how real a threat COVID is. It's the leadership to stand up and tell the American people, look at the increase across the country, look at what's happening to this country vis-a-vis other countries, look how it's hurt the economy. It is a real threat. And to start simply, the president can do two things. First, sign an executive order directing everyone to wear a mask. How we're at this point as a nation, and we still haven't done the simple, easy, minimal step of saying you must wear a mask when you're in public. And the president doesn't have to pass a piece of legislation, doesn't have to call the Congress. Just sign an executive order saying wear a mask. We did it 2 months ago in this state. The other states are just starting to do it now. States that were recalcitrant, governors who said, we don't need to do this, masks don't work, all the political nonsense we heard. Now they're doing a 180, and you have the same states now wearing masks. Let the president have the same sense and do that as an executive order. And then let the president lead by example and let the president put a mask on it. Because we know it works. We've proven that it works in the state of New York. And the president can still be New York tough and New York smart and united and disciplined and loving. I want to show you one other thing that makes the point. For a second. This come down or does it go up? This, do we know what this is? This is the mountain. What is the tallest mountain in the state of New York? Mount Marcy. This is the mountain that New Yorkers climbed. You know, I keep showing the curve. This is the curve. It's actually proportionate. We started on day 1, and the numbers kept going straight up for 42 days. 42 days, New Yorkers dealt with that increase. Why did we have the spike? How did we get to day 1? Because the virus came from Europe and nobody told us it was coming from Europe because the federal government didn't know. We dealt with it. We paid the price. And we dealt with that spike and we climbed right up the mountain. We got smart. New Yorkers stepped up. We wore masks. We socially distanced. We closed down. And we stopped the curve. We plateaued. You look at the projections, they all projected that this spike would continue killing tens of thousands more people. New Yorkers came together and they turned the curve. And then we plateaued on day 42, and then we had to reduce the infection rate, and that decline went from day 42 to day 111. This was the trajectory of COVID in our state. We don't want to climb this mountain again. We don't want to climb this mountain again. And that's why the phased reopening, staying smart, staying disciplined, and that's why the spread across the country, that if that spread comes to New York, we could have to do this all over again. That's why we put in place quarantines. That's why we're offering help to all the other states. That's why we're saying the president has to step up, because doing this once in life is enough. We don't need to climb another mountain. One mountain was enough. We don't want to climb a mountain range. One mountain is enough. We don't want to do it again. Questions?
Governor, several more states might be added to the quarantine in the next few days. Has there been any concrete data on how many out-of-state visitors are already subject to quarantine, or how many have perhaps even been fined for your executive orders?
Let's just remember how the quarantine works. It does not name a state, any state. There's nothing to do with politics. There's nothing to do with I like Minnesota or I don't like California. It's an equation. It's a set of numbers. If your infection rate is above X, then when you come here, please quarantine, just because we don't want the infection to spread, and you don't want the infection to spread. I do not have numbers for you, Zach. We just put it in place, but as soon as we get numbers, I can get them to you.
Potentially phase 3 in New York City, and what should the NYPD and Bill de Blasio be doing to enforce no mass gatherings, wear your mask, etc.?
Yeah, I don't want to. We have been on schedule with the entire phased reopenings. And the other regions are all ahead of New York, right, in terms of reopening. And we've done the reopenings, we followed the data, and the data is all still down, right? The infection rate is down all across the state. We're going to enter phase 3. The indoor dining piece is just one component of that, and that's something that we want to study. But we are on track for phase 3. This indoor dining piece, I do want to make sure we study, again, in light of everything else. If it was just indoor dining, we've done a lot of work on the air filtration system. With the filters can actually, I think, make a significant difference. But if it was just indoor dining, it would be one thing. But it's indoor dining, and you have the congregation problem, and you have the viral spread across the nation, which I think is really problematic for us. We are a state that is a hub. It's more of a problem for New York than probably any state in the United States. And that's why I implore the president to get into the game. First, as an American citizen, I want to protect those other citizens and give them the support they gave us. Second, for the economy, if we don't get this under control, the economy is going to get worse. And third, on a parochial level, they will come here. It is a matter of time, but they will come here. And the virus came in through our airports once before. It will come through again.
Governor, given some of the places that are seeing hotspots, a huge level of spread, a lot of them are suburban, a lot of them are rural, does it make you reevaluate at all your initial assessment that density was the main driver of New York City's big outbreak?
Well, we never said anything was a main driver. It was the main driver in New York City. In retrospect, now that we have the facts, Dr. Fauci said this, CDC head said this, the main driver was the virus came from Europe. And it was the greatest miss by the federal government of all time. China virus, China virus, China virus, China travel ban. Forget the China travel ban. It was in Europe. And they literally have traced our strain of the virus back to Europe. January, February, March, 3 million people come through our airports from Europe. And then you have the density and the public transportation and everything else. But more than anything, we just didn't know. Nobody said, screen people coming from Europe. Nobody said to the people of New York, watch when you go have a meeting with people in Europe. Watch if you have guests who are coming from Europe. It was just a total miss by the federal government. That was the main point. I give you the 7 deaths today, 8 deaths is the 3-day average, right?